I think it's important that people get an understanding of what this is about. It's a disease. It's not, a choice somebody makes. In the case of my family members, one had a surgery, the other one had a broken back on prescription medications. Mm-hmm. This was before doctors had a firm better knowledge of how to wean people off them. They immediately stopped it, and then they got the classic, pill seeking and went down that road. Mm. So it's important people understand that, being a disease, the other stigma that is frustrating is the one, as you hear, the stigma of being on medication is your recovery. If that's what it takes somebody, it's not a replacement. People think you're replacing one drug with another, and you're not. You're taking away the cravings and being sick. And anybody who suffers from the disorder will tell you the worst part of it is the withdrawals and the sickness that you get if you don't get the drugs. And so it's important that people understand that and don't pass judgment on that. And that includes medical providers. Unfortunately, I've seen it on the other side of the fence. As a first responder, you sometimes see people who are first responders who get frustrated, understandably, because they're responding to the same person, for multiple overdoses, and they can become what I call compassion fatigued and don't have a lot of compassion for people. So that's something we have to monitor on a regular basis with our people. And the other side of that, I've seen in the hospital environment. My son was a type 1 diabetic, and when he was actively, addicted, he would not take care of his diabetes, and we'd take him to the emergency room and, diabetic ketoacidosis. And I had one time where a nurse told me, no, that's his withdrawal. And I go, no, I know this kid. That's not his withdrawal. He's got it. And ultimately, he was in ICU being treated for his diabetes. But it was somebody who, unfortunately, had developed compassion fatigue. I'll just end up by saying the reason my son finally sought recovery, I believe, is the last time I took him to the emergency department, and the physician who was on was very compassionate, very understanding, and had a great talk with him, and was very sensitive to what he was going through. And it was shortly thereafter he sought recovery.